There are new developments taking place in the U.S. brokered Russia-Ukraine peace deal. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says that there are still points of disagreement of the deal. But she also says that the flow of weapons from the U.S. to Ukraine via NATO is unsustainable. She also says that American diplomatic teams are working around the clock to get the peace deal over the line. Meanwhile, Russia has also given an update. Their Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov highlighted the last meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Putin, the one in Anchorage, Alaska, back in August. Lavrov said that once the U.S. negotiations with Ukraine are concluded and changes are made to the peace plan, it should still reflect the spirit and letter of the Trump-Putin meeting in Alaska.
We have channels of communication with our U.S. counterparts, and we use them. We expect to receive the version they consider interim after the coordination phase with the Europeans and the Ukrainians ends. Then we will review it, because if the spirit and letter of Anchorage, the key understandings we recorded, are stripped out, it will be a fundamentally different situation. But for now, I repeat, we have not received anything officially.
His statement comes amid reports that a delegation from the U.S. has held unannounced peace talks with Russian officials in the UAE's capital, Abu Dhabi. The American side was led by U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll. The exact nature of the talks with the Russians has not been made public. However, he is also expected to meet a Ukrainian delegation in Abu Dhabi. Meanwhile, the U.S. had reportedly pressed Ukraine to accept its proposal to end the war with Russia during the recent talks in Geneva. This despite Kiev's protest that the plan conceded too much to Moscow. A senior official quoted in the reports said Washington did not directly threaten to cut off aid if Kiev rejected its proposal, but that Ukraine understood this was a distinct possibility. The U.S. plan, originally made up of 28 points, would see Ukraine effectively cede its eastern Donetsk and Luhansk regions to Russia and slash the size of its military. On Sunday, Ukrainian, U.S. and European officials met in Geneva to draft an updated version of the plan to end the war. But the Kremlin responded saying that it would not accept European amendments. The White House has meanwhile pushed back on criticism that U.S. President Donald Trump was favoring Russia in his efforts to end the war.
The idea that the United States of America is not engaging with both sides equally in this war to bring it to an end is a complete and total fallacy.
Press Secretary Leavitt said that there is no meeting scheduled between Trump and Zelensky this week. Earlier, reports said that Zelensky could travel to the U.S. to discuss with Trump sensitive aspects of a plan to end the war.
Команда наша доповідала сьогодні вже по новому драфту кроків, і це дійсно правильний підхід. Чутливі речі, сенситивні речі я обговорю з президентом Трампом. Україна ніколи не буде перепоною для миру. Це наш принцип, спільний принцип. І мільйони українців розраховують і заслуговують на достойний мир. Все для цього зробимо. Ми готові працювати максимально швидко.
Trump initially gave Zelensky until Thursday to respond to the first version of the plan, but German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has thrown doubts on Trump's deadline, saying at an EU-Africa summit in Angola, the discussions will be a lengthy, long-lasting process. UK Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper said important progress has been made in efforts towards a just and lasting peace, but insisted that Russia now needs to come to the table and stop bombardment. While negotiations continue, powerful explosions rocked Kiev overnight. Ukraine's energy ministry said a massive attack targeting power facilities was underway as the military reported a barrage of drones and missiles fired at the Ukrainian capital. Ukrainian airstrikes killed at least 3 people in Russia's Rostov region. Russia's defense ministry claimed that it downed nearly 250 Ukrainian drones during overnight attacks.